Good evening. Welcome to the City Council meeting on Wednesday, July 12th, 2017. Can I have the roll call, please?
Dan Carey.
Present.
Peg Coniff. Here. Salem Derby. Jennifer Hayes.
Here.
JP Kaczynski.
Here.
Joseph McCoy.
Here.
Dan Rist.
Here.
Tamara Smith. Here. Joy Winnie.
Here.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Can I please have we'll do this separately, approval for the minutes of May 31st, 2017?
So moved.
Second. Motion second approval of the May 31st minutes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions? I will. Okay, motion still passes. I entertain a motion for approval of the minutes of June 7th.
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
that's motion second for June 7th. All those in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
One
Abstain.
abstention, 2 abstentions. Motion still passes. Public speak time. Is there anyone here from the public who would like to address the council on anything other than what's on public hearings, because we have none tonight? Please come to the podium, state your name and address. Okay, not seeing any, we can move on. Communications from elected officials, boards, and committees. Councilor Derby is not here tonight. We did get a communication from the city planner relating to the proposed amendment to the zoning ordinance, section 10.93, relating to medical marijuana. They voted 5-0 in favor of changing the section to extend the hours to 11 p.m. and closed between 11 p.m. and 6 a.m. This later on, Councilor Smith will be setting a public hearing for this same topic, so you'll hear more about it. But this is just a communication we did receive from the planning department. Mayor Communications, Mayor Cadgett.
So as you can see, you have the intermunicipal agreement with Southampton and East Hampton for the conservation agent, and it's just on there. I'm assuming that you're going to be transferring it to your subcommittee. And just a quick note that a conservation agent has been something that we have been needing for a long time. This is a grant received that we can share the position with Southampton. Southampton has already approved this, by the way, at their town meeting. So, I look forward to discussing it in our subcommittee.
Okay. Councilor Hayes, question? The mayor has a question.
Yes, Counselor.
Could we get an update on the high school situation? There were reports that were supposed to be done at the end of May, and where the
Yes.
Attorney General is at and
Right,
what's happening
and
next.
Absolutely. And if you've been listening to the school committee, those reports are not available yet. And as soon as they are, they will be released. So they are not complete as yet. Where the school committee actually meets tomorrow night, and at this point, they were not on their agenda because they were not available this early. So we're still hoping that all these investigative reports will be ready for the next school committee meeting.
And what are the departments from the investigative reports? I know there's a woman named Sapphire from the Hampshire Crossville
correct.
and the Attorney General.
That's
And those are the only two we're waiting on?
And the superintendents.
Oh, and the superintendent.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Okay.
Mr. President,
Councilor, yes.
I'd like to move the mayor's request for the conservation agent to rules of government relations for review.
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second to move the request for the shared conservation agent to rules and regulations. Additional questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion passes. Moving on to standing committee, Finance, Councilor Rist.
Yes, Mr. President, the Finance Committee will be meeting next Wednesday at 5 p.m. in Room B, that's in the basement, due to the use of Room 1. We will be discussing the items I'm about to move to committee from new business. Under new business, I'd like to request the following items be moved to Finance Committee. Number 1 is an interdepartment transfer of $45,000 to be transferred from the Reserve Fund, $45,000 to be transferred to the Fire Department Holiday Pay, $2,500. The Fire Department Full-Time Regular, $17,500. An Ambulance EMS Incentive, $25,000 for a total of $45,000. The amount requested would be used for the following purpose: to provide funds to cover the cost of recently negotiated collective bargaining agreement. The second item is an item from the mayor. The request is made for the following. The amount requested is $250,000 to be funded by borrowing, to be borrowed or bonded for the purpose of purchasing and equipping a dump truck, including the payment of all costs incidental and related thereto.
Actually, Counselor Hayes, Counselor Hayes, could we, just because one's bonding and borrowing and one's interpretable to transfer, can we just do them separately, just for claims? So we'll do the 45,000.
Okay, I'll move that be moved to committee.
Second.
Okay, motion second to move the $45,000 interdepartmental transfer to finance. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion passes. Okay, thanks.
Do you mind if I do all three?
No, that
bonding
makes
ones
sense. They're all
separately?
bonding.
Okay. So I already read the 250,000. The next one is from the mayor for the following. The amount requested is $350,000 to be funded by borrowing, to be borrowed or bonded for the purpose of purchasing and equipping an ambulance, including the payment of all costs incidental and related thereto. Next is the following, request is hereby made for the following. The amount requested, $650,000 to be funded by borrowing, to be borrowed or bonded for the purpose of purchasing and equipping a fire truck, including the payment of all costs incidental and related thereto. I would like to move those three items to Finance Committee for review.
Second.
Okay, motion is second to move those three red bonding borrowing requests to finance. Additional questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion passes.
Finally, I'd like to request that all four of these items, the $45,000 for the fire department, $250,000 for the dump truck, $350,000 for the ambulance, and $650,000 for a fire truck, be set for public hearing review on August 2nd in these chambers at 6:15.
Second.
Okay, a motion is second to set the public hearings previously just read for 8-2, 6:15 in the chambers. Additional questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion passes.
That concludes, Mr. President.
Concludes, thanks. Public Safety, Councilor Hayes.
Thank you, Mr. President. Our next meeting is August 1st at 6:15, room to be determined. We have on our agenda the school and railroad streets. Councilor Carey and I met last night, and the request has been to consider making both of these streets one way. School Street is the one next to Pride, and Railroad Street is the one that Tandem Deli is on. And we decided that because this would be a pretty seismic shift in traffic patterns, that it would be a good idea to get in touch with all of the abutters and businesses and whomever that are going to be affected by this street directly, get in touch with them and invite them to that August 1st meeting. So that is in process.
Is this part of that bigger reworking of that area?
It's not, actually.
It's not?
It was a couple of requests from parents who are dropping off their kids at the school, is my understanding,
Okay.
In the public safety departments.
in the public safety department.
Okay. Okay.
And then we also have some new business to take a look at the language on the signs for the new Pleasant Street restrictions that we worked on. So I'm going to add that to the public safety agenda, and we will talk about that on August 1st as well.
Motion to move it to subcommittee.
Motion to move it to subcommittee.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? Motion
This
passes.
concludes.
Appointments, Councilor Smith.
Thank you. I have no old business to report, but I have two mayoral recommendations for appointments to move to subcommittee. The first one is for Rachel Phillips for the ECA Grants Committee with a term expiration of 12/31/19. And the second is for Amy Marsters for the Nashawanic Pond Committee for a term expiration of 12/31/19. So I'd like to make a motion to move that to subcommittee.
Second.
Motion second to move to subcommittee that you previously named names. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? Motion passes.
And then our next meeting is going to be Wednesday, August 2nd at 5:30.
Okay. That concludes. Although you're on again. Ordinance, Councilor Smith.
Okay, the ordinance subcommittee did not meet in June, but I do have to set a public hearing tonight for the medical marijuana ordinance, so I'd like to set a public hearing for 6:15 on August 2nd.
Second.
Motion is second to set a public hearing for August 2nd, 6:15 PM in these chambers related to the medical marijuana ordinance. Additional questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion passes.
And this concludes.
Just taking a quick glance, maybe we could ask for 90-day or whatever extension on those first two zoning ordinances.
Okay, I'd like to make a request for a 90-day extension on the first two, the seasonal cottage community zoning amendment and the zoning amendment to the medical marijuana
Second.
ordinance.
Okay, motion is second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion passes. Does that conclude?
That concludes.
Okay, thank you. Property, Council Kuzinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. With regard to the special act for the Old Town Hall, we're working with Attorney Fitzgibbons to tweak the language, and I would request a 60-day extension.
Second.
There's motion and second for a 60-day extension on the Old Town Hall lease. Additional questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion passes. That
Concludes.
Okay, rules and government relations.
Yes, Mr. President, Rules of Government Relations will meet at 5 p.m. on August 2nd. That's prior to our council meeting at 5 p.m. in room 1 to discuss the conservation agent that was sent to committee this evening. That's all. Thank you, sir.
We have no old business. We went through our new business.
Mr. President.
Oh, that's okay.
I should have done this during communications, but I just wanted to say the school building committee had a public forum on June 29th, which was well attended. The PowerPoint presentation from that's available on the school website. We'd love to get even more people involved. The next public forum is July 18th at Whitebrook Middle School at 6:30, and we encourage anybody and everybody from town to come and attend that forum.
Great, thanks for that information.
Thank you.
Additional announcements or updates from your precincts or at large? Council Rist?
I want to inform the committee that some of you may know this already, the council, I mean. As the chairman of the CPA committee, I was extremely disappointed to find out that the match, the requested legislation that would have increased our match to 50 or at least 30% from the state did not get passed with the budget. This means that, although I think in talking to our administrator, Jamie, that we should be fine with our budget, it does reduce the match considerably. 15% is, as I said earlier, is like a $40,000 drop in funding capability for the CPA. I'm debating it with the committee, I may ask the council for a resolution to request. This is still, the legislation is still on the floor of the Senate, for both legislative houses, but it just didn't get through the conference committee into the budget. So I'm hoping they'll take it up at another date. So I may ask the council to support that. Thank you.
Okay. Additional comments?
I just wanted to make a quick acknowledgement of our East Hampton Little League baseball team.
Yes, very good.
Won the sectionals, and of course won their district, and they're on to bigger and better things very shortly. So I think that's terrific for East Hampton.
Awesome.
Okay, and if I'll entertain a motion to adjourn then.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? See you August 2nd.